Hello students, today we discuss about another chapter that is very important role for NEET examination. Already we discussed about the first unit related to reproduction, second unit related to genetics as well as evolution. Then another most important in NEET examination, that is ecosystem or related to ecology. In this one, so in these three units has maximum weightage in NEET exam. Remaining also important, but when you compare to remaining one, these first, second and last units in second year, a little bit more weightage marks. That's why we discuss and start with next unit, that is ecology. In this one, what is meant by ecology? Ecology means the relationship between organism as well as environment, or interaction between organism as well as environment. That is called as ecology. Who coined the term as ecology? Ernest Haeckel coined the term as ecology. Ernest Haeckel coined the term as ecology. Then, who authentically used that ecology and that is Ritter scientist. Authentically used the name of the scientist, Ritter and all. In this one, the particular terminology it is required and all. In this, so what is meant by ecosystem? That means a sum of biotic, abiotic, a specific occupied that geographical area and all. That means both biotic as well as abiotic. What is meant by biotic? Living organisms. What is meant by abiotic? Non-living one. So a sum of biotic, non-biotic or abiotic in a occupied a specific geographical area that represent we call as ecosystem and all. In this ecosystem also many different types according to their locality, according to their type of the atmospheric conditions and all. Then along with this one we discuss about what is meant by habitat and all. What is the meaning of habitat? What is the meaning of habitat? The specific that related to the species occupied, that physical, that means one species, anyone organism occupied the physical atmospheric condition or physical atmospheric area. So physical area. So organism physically occupied in that particular conditions and all, particular area and all, or simply one organism or population or community, anyone, it occupied a specific physical environment and all, or locality of the particular environmental condition and all. That is we called as habitat and all. So there are different types of the habitats are present. Some of the organisms lives inside the organisms, like a parasitic nature and all. Some of the organisms it must be living. There are different habitats. Some of U-shaped burrow, that is a Chiropteris. Chiropteris, that is the pedal worm, lives U-shaped burrow. Some of the organisms live inside the ants one. Some of the organisms, many organisms lives inside in the human intestine and all. Like that, different habitats. But what I said related to a specific physical occupied environmental condition. But some are exception case of that particular habitat. Instead of a specific one, in a different habitat, it must live sundown. That is, for example, hilsa. One among the fish, it lives both fresh as well as marine water and all. Both fish as well as marine habitat and all. That is, for example, amphibians. Normally amphibians lives both terrestrial as well as water and all. But Necturus, it lives completely aquatic one. Then related to Bufo, completely related to the terrestrial and all. Some exceptions. Related to Necturus lives that completely aquatic one. Similarly, Bufo, that is completely it lives terrestrial one. Normally it lives both land as well as water, but according to these particular environmental conditions, it lives that one among these organisms completely water, another one completely land, terrestrial and all. Or some other plasmodium, it lives both human RBC as well as liver. Apart from this one, the saliva or intestine, that means the digestive system of in female Anopheles mosquito and all. That means differently. Some of these one, according to this one, different types of the habitat. Some of the habitat completely present into the canopy of that particular one particular plant and all. Some other organisms, it lives into the river, into the pond. So again, different habitats, it must be present and all. Then, what is the meaning of ecological niche and all? Ecological niche. That means the animal's place in biotic environment and its functional response in that ecosystem and all. Biotic environment and its functional response in ecosystem. That is we called as ecological niche and all. In a specific animal, what its functional role among these different types of the organisms and all. In this, there is ecological niche and all. In this one, what are the levels of that biological organization, that levels the levels of biological organization and all. What are the levels of biological organization? In this one, different levels are present. What is the functional or fundamental or basic? What is the basic level of biological that is related to biological organization and all? That means it related to in that it begins from atom. How atoms are formed? A group of, there is a protons, neutrons, electrons, collectively or it forms into the atoms and all. This is it related to atom. In that atom, it formed that proton, as well as neutron, as well as electron. These are, it forms into the, in atoms, a group of atoms, that molecules, a group of molecule, compound. In that inorganic compound, later organic compound. In that organic, simple organic compound, later complex compound and all. That related to that complex compounds. That means both inorganic as well as organic compounds and all. Then this complex compound, that is in the form of it get together to form into the protoplasm, then it forms as this one, cell and all. A group of cell, tissue, a group of tissue, organ, a group of organ system, then organism, a group of organism, population, a group of population, ecosystem, then biosphere, then related to biosphere. In this one, which among these one, there is, everybody knows, but which among these particular level of biological organization, it represents into the physical hierarchy. That means physical hierarchy and all. So, up to here, it represents that physical hierarchy, up to complex, that is related to physical hierarchy and all. Then from cell up to organism, that is a biological hierarchy. It represents biological hierarchy. Then related to from population to up to biosphere, that is ecological hierarchy. This is represent ecological. It is represent ecological hierarchy. Up to this particular level, it indicates non-living. Then below this one, the living. Below this one, living and all. If you go from atom to up to ecosystem or up to ecological or biosphere and all, it indicates, it represents to increase the complexity and all. Then here, from biosphere to that particular atom, to decrease the complexity and all. So, from atom to biosphere, it increased. From biosphere to atom, to decrease its complexity and all. So, this is what is meant by physical, what is meant by biological, what is meant by ecological. Based on this one, what is the basic unit of ecological hierarchy? What is the fundamental unit of ecological hierarchy? Or what is the simple unit of ecological hierarchy? That means organism act as the basic unit of ecological hierarchy. That is important. The basic unit of ecological means that is organism. What is the basic unit of biological hierarchy? This is up to here. Up to here represent as this one, biological one. What is the basic unit of biological one? Cell. This is cell is basic unit of biological hierarchy. Organism is basic unit of ecological hierarchy. So these minimum fundamental things, it must require what is meant by habitat, what is meant by cell, what is meant by organism. Then among these one, what is the specific type of this ecosystem? A specific occupied the regional area and all. In this one, biosphere, different types of ecosystem present in our globe, in our world. So total number of ecosystems present in our world that indicates as this one biosphere. Then what is meant by biome? Before formation of this one, here biome it will be present and all. What is meant by biome? The large regional or subcontinental area. The large regional or subcontinental biosystem. That means large regional or the large regional or subcontinental biosystem, wherever it must be present, that represent as this biome and all. This biome related to different types of biomes are present and all. That indicates that is they begin that specific, that particular, this one among these in that unit, the first subtopic, the first chapter and all, that is organisms and population. That means what are the basic levels in that biological organization and all. What are the basic levels? Many levels are present, like a cell is there, tissue is there, all these one. What are the basic levels? Basic levels are related to organism, population, as well as community, then ecosystem. These are basic levels of, so there are 4 basic levels are present in that ecology, in that ecosystems and all. That is very important. What are the basic levels present in ecosystem? Then you write organism, population, ecosystem, as well as the respective of the communities and all. In that one, the first chapter, they have given this unit, organisms and population. Related to biomes, in that they have given, in that the first, that they have given organisms and population. So, after learning all these introduction part, then we start about the original topic, that is organisms and population. Just now I said what is meant by organism? This is the basic unit of ecosystem, that is the ecological hierarchy and all. Then, so these organisms always adapt in that particular environmental condition. Frequently the environmental conditions are changed. Seasonally it changes. But environmental conditions from latitudinally as well as altitudinally, it is also changed and all. Because of from equator to poles, gradually it is also environmentally, it must be changed and all. So what is the major, what is the critical or what is the important factors because of the changing of environmental conditions and all? Why? Because the organism completely, it must adapt the specific regarding related to that particular environmental conditions and all, whatever it may be, whether they are living polar condition, whether they are living into the equator or tropical or subtropical or temperate or any different types of the biomes and all. Along with this one, then what is the big population? A group of organisms. So among this ecological hierarchy, two basic concepts we must discuss, that is related to organism as well as population and all. In this one, the first subtopic related to this chapter and all, organism and its environment. In this one, organism and its environment. What type of environment? Abiotic. Environment related to abiotic things and all. What are the abiotic factors? It acts as a very important role to influence on these biotic factors and all. That is related to temperature as well, that means climatic factors as well as edaphic factors. These two factors act as a key roles and all. Before that particular role, how many different types of biomes present in our country and all? There is a tropical rainforest. In India, it is present tropical rainforest as well as decidual rainforest. As well as coastal, the mid-sea coastal area under the desert. So these are Indian biome, the biomes are present. Then what about in globe? What about in world? How many different types of biomes are present? That biomes depends upon availability of water. The biome depends upon availability of light, availability of temperature. So according to different abiotic factors, availability of majorly temperature as well as precipitation in the form of water or related to humidity and all. In this, either in the form of the water or in the related to temperature, based on these two important factors and all, by consideration, different types of biomes they identified in the globe and all. In these different biomes here, one among the axis precipitation. In centimeter related to water in the form of rain or in the form of the fog, any one. In this one, either 50, 100, 150, 200. So some of the areas maximum precipitation per year and all. Some areas less rainfall. Normally guess it which particular areas less rainfall is present and all. Normally in desert area, wherever water scarcity, there less rainfall and all. Where maximum rainfall, wherever appropriate, the plants are present. That means the normal appropriate particular factors and all. Then automatically it is present a normal. Then more than the normal precipitation is present and all. Related to in its temperature. It related to degrees Celsius and all. Related to temperature. Temperature, degrees Celsius and all. In this particular one, very least, this is the frozen environmental condition. This is very maximum temperature is present and all. In that frozen environmental conditions, normally we observe there is Arctic as well as alpine, Arctic tundra that is present and all, Arctic region and all, as well as alpine. Then related to desert, it represents desert and all. In between this one, there is present in grassland. Grassland, the precipitation up to 150, it is present and all. Then more than 25, but minimum it is present, minimum 0, it is present and all. But here maximum 0, this you must observe the Arctic, the tundra region and all, it is present, frozen condition, minus degrees Celsius and all, when you compare to the remaining biomes and all. Then this is the grassland environmental condition. Then related to up to 250. It is related to which are related to conifer forest or coniferous. Then tropical or temperate region. This is temperate one. It is also up to below 250 or minimum it is present up to 100 the precipitation per year and all. Then minimum 25 or maximum up to 450 and all. That is tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforest, the maximum precipitation per year, that's why maximum vegetation, maximum that heterotrophic organism, both autotrophic, heterotrophic organisms also maximum related to when you compare to the remaining biomes and all. So sometimes they asked the diagrammatically they represented like A, B, C, D and you indicate which is Arctic, which is desert, which is green, grassland, which is temperate, which is tropical, all these identified and all, that respectable. Among this one, you understood the least precipitation as well as more temperature, there is a desert area. Then less temperature as well as related to less rainfall and all, that completely frozen, that related to Arctic, that means in poles region. Remember, from equator to poles, gradual temperature it decreases and all. From plains to up to hill slope, there also gradual reduce the temperature only. In this, there is different types of these biomes and all. Now, what are the abiotic factors? What are the important abiotic factors are present? In this one, many abiotic factors are present. Among these one, a critical role takes place in organism, living organisms and all. Abiotic factors. In that one, climatic factor as well as edaphic factor. There are two factors are present. One is the climatic, another one is the edaphic factors. Among these one, which type of this abiotic factor we consider as this one abiotic, that means climatic factor, it represents like a temperature, water, that means availability of rainfall and all. Light, soil, as well as air, then humidity, like many different types of the factors, it represents or it indicates that the climatic factors are not. Edaphic factor, only one, that is the soil. Soil related to edaphic factor and all. Among these one, which act as very important and chief role related to the survivability of these particular organisms. Then, along this, what are the biotic factors? Apart from this one organism, if it lives properly, if it lives healthily, it must survive maximum period of time. Why? Because a organism, it indicates one specific lifespan. Even though it is the basic level of that ecological hierarchy, it is a basic lifespan, life period of time, it is present and all. So, if it is survival in that particular period of time, it must require along with different types of living organisms also, it must cope with, it must understand, or it must related to interaction. That means what is the another biological factors to living one particular organism and all, like parasites, So to fight against parasites as well as pathogens, predators, then competitors. That means if it is two organisms are same height, same weight, same food material, ready to fight, which is the best, which is the very stronger related to physically, that organism, its survival when you compare to the another organism, weaker organism is eliminated. Now at present also very simple example related to corona, whomever organism, it must more immunity against that particular viruses. That organism only survival. Related to in that climatic factor, one among these one, temperature. Temperature acts as a very important role for all metabolic activities, for all enzymatic actions. All metabolic activities related to growth, related to reproduction, or various activities, and the temperature acts as a very important role. So normally most of the organisms survival in moderate temperature related to animals, related to plants as well as including human beings. But some of the organisms whomever present the internal constant temperature, that means homeostasis or homeostatic, that related to endothermal, whomever constant internal temperature, that organism survival maximum period of time. Because of it survival, it withstand even adverse environmental conditions and all. For example, this environmental condition, temperature, it must be variable according to seasonally. Winter season, one type of temperature. Why? Because our planet rotates all around the particular sun and all. Because of while rotating, automatically seasonal changes. Like winter season, summer season, such type of seasons, automatically it is also changing and all. Then, suppose if it is unfavorable conditions, any type of the organism, then automatically such organism ready to shift from one place to another place. That particular condition, the particular transport, temporary relief, temporary related to going, that particular organisms, whatever the organism, which are very cold condition, temperature very freezing, that unable to survival and all. For example, Siberian crane, from Siberia to in Bharatpur, Kelidio National Park at Rajasthan, it migrated every year and all. Migration is going on every year and all. But due to pollution, some of the number, it reduces. So like that migration based on to escape from external temperature and one among the important adaptation, that is migration. Some of the organisms ready to live, unable to migrate. Then what is another adaptation? Ready to enter inside the soil temporarily. That is we call as estivation. Otherwise we call as submersion. Some of the organism, if it is extreme, why? Because in Rajasthan, Thar, maximum temperature is present when you compare to the cold environmental condition. Temperature means that specific cold or heat, hotness of that particular substances. It represents this particular temperature and all. Some of the kangaroo rat unable to drink the water. That means may not available, scarcity of water in that specific desert area and all. While utilizing of the food material, whatever the water is present, for all metabolic activities, utilize that water only. That's why solid fecal matter, that very concentric urine, it excreted and all. So based on temperature, various. Another best example, for example, mango, that Germany unable to, Canada and Germany unable to grow because of, when you compare to the, in the tropical region, it is more temperature when you compare to the Canada and Germany and all. So such a cold environmental condition unable to develop that particular plant and all. So particular organism develops a specific temperature is required. That you understood carefully and all. Then related to water, another important factor related to water. For that water, temperature again, some of these extreme temperature, that means related to megathermal, or some of these one different temperature condition, eurythermal, or moderate, that is regarding to stenothermal and all. Like that variable temperature, different organisms and plants, its survival and all. Then water, another important factor. Water acts as an important role. So in our organisms, each and every living organism, including human being, so more than 80% water it is present and all. Even though in our planet occupies more than 70% water related to this one. So living organisms, it originated from water itself only. So water acts as a very chief role, important role, all metabolic activities. But even we have one doubt. Some of the organism which lives into the aquatic, which lives into the water, is there any another role, or is there any that particular inconvenient? Yes. Even though aquatic organism itself act as a critical for water. Why it is critical? Even water is sufficiently present based on pH value, based on salinity. Normally it represents the salinity parts per thousands and all, ppt and all. So it is variable, different types of the climatic conditions and all. So that water acts as a very critical role. Some of the desert, the plants which survival into the desert we call as xerophytes. The plants which survival into the water, that is we call as hydrophytes and all. Respect of this one, mesophytes, it is present. To escaping that particular one, it is also act as a very important role. So that's why water critical role to transportation, to metabolism, for each and every activities and all. Then light, along with what is the chief source of light as well as temperature in our planet and all, the important source of in our planet, both temperature as well as light, none other than sunlight only. The chief important role and all. In this light also, some of these one visible wavelength of light rays, below visible, beyond visible. So light is very important role for autotrophic organism. If plants, it takes place appropriate light and all, then what happens after completion of photosynthesis? It liberates oxygen. Whenever it releases oxygen, remaining heterotrophic organism, it must survive and all. So light has a very critical role. For that plant itself depends upon the light. Without light there is no particular photosynthesis and all. Without light there is no opening of, closing of the stomata and all. That means that means regarding related to opening and closing of stomata. Related to transpiration. That means closing and opening of stomata indirectly helpful for transpiration. So in this, light act as a crucial role, respectable of plants as well as animals, including human beings. This one, based on the availability of light, some of the organism, it must do different metabolic activities and all. Some are auroral, which actively participate during morning time. Some are vesperal, which actively participate during evening time. Some are both dusk as well as dawn. That is crepuscular. Like that, some of the diurnal completely actively participate during daytime and all. During night time there is a nocturnal and all. So like that, light acts as a very crucial role. Different types of these particular organism and all. Then related to soil. Soil also acts as a crucial role and all. Because of different, what about this soil and all? Already said edific factor and all. It is related to edific factor, climatic factor, the light as well as air, humidity, all these one it is present and all. Air, humidity, yes. But soil act as this one edific factor. Without that soil, different zones, different horizons are present. A horizon, top soil, B horizon, subsoil, C horizon, withering zone, D horizon, rock zone. Based on different zones, different about the A horizon, it is present into the humus. That means very organic material it will be present and all. That study of the soil we call as edaphology or pedology and all. That is we call as pedology or edaphology. related to this one, distribution of the soil, it is maximum 50 to 60%. It is present mineral nutrients and all. That is 50 to 60% mineral. Minerals are present into the soil only. Then 25 to 35%. 25 to 30% it is present into the air. Soil, air and all. Then related to 15 to 20%, that is related to water. Then rest of the percentage, it is present organic and all. In this, in exam point of view, which particular horizon of this soil, it is present humus and all. There is O horizon. Suppose in the soil, it is distributed. This is the A horizon. Up to here, B, C, and D. A horizon we count as the top soil. This is top soil. It is subsoil. That means it contains different types of the mineral nutrient, minerals, salts, everything is present and all. Then withering. There is withering of the rocks. Last one, rock soil. But in tropical, beyond the A, whatever it is, that is O horizon. Here only it is present humus and all. But in a tropical particular soil, where it is present maximum amount of clay-like containing of the soil particles and all, there is a B, subsoil, it is present and all. So topsoil act as a vital role. Here, in between that particular sedimental particles and all, the two air also it is present. Then apart, it is depends upon type of the soil and all. So these particular different layers of the specific type of the soil and all. So that soil also act as a very important role. So remaining air as well as humidity, based on these also act as a very crucial role to survivability of that particular environment of the organisms and all. Then that is climatic as well as edific factor. So remaining in detail we discuss about in next class and all. Okay.